Good afternoon, Facebook world. This is Ryan Wiedemann with Dave and Ryan Remax of Sedalia. It's officially Wednesday afternoon, and we welcome everyone. My father and I thank you for jumping in on episode 7 of the Brown Baggin It with Dave and Ryan show today. You're in for some good information, of which we believe you should be able to put to use in the very near future. Additionally, we welcome those who are watching our replay on Facebook and our Dave and Ryan YouTube channel. As I said, I'm Ryan Wiedemann, and you might ask why this show. As we work our way through the uncertainties of this pandemic, my father and I were seeking a better way to stay in touch with the Sedalia Pettis County real estate market. One major goal of our team is to keep the public educated on the real estate industry by introducing you great folks more in depth to our local partners and their daily responsibilities. Jumping right into things, today's guest, formal education is that of a chemistry major where he graduated from Central Missouri State University, which now is University of Central Missouri. He took a break in the middle of his schooling and started a rough-in construction business. After college, he became a lab manager for a developmental research and development testing group. While working as a chemist, he started purchasing real estate rental property. He eventually left this field and started work in the field of ministry. His career took him to China, where he, that endeavor, did meet his wife. Ministry was doing great for him, but it did not pay the best. So it was time he took out and looked for a new job. Home Warranty contacted him and offered him a sales representative position, where he is now in his 12th year of working for the company. In his personal life, he has 2 adult daughters with 3 grandchildren between them and twin boys that are 2.5 years old. We will hear from Mark Emerick in just a minute. And I'm getting feedback that we may not be able to see the screen on our Facebook Live feed, so I may pause us for just a second and see if I can figure this out. I think we're just going to have to run with it. We're going to continue on. As far as today's layout, here's going to be the agenda for today. My dad's going to jump in and he's going to briefly cover some fresh market numbers regarding the current residential listing market here in Pettis County. He'll then introduce us to why it's so important for the public to team up with real estate professionals who focus on continuing education, particularly in earning a National Association of Realtors sponsored designations. Then we'll move over to Mark, who will give us a glimpse into the world of home warranties. In this segment, Mark will be covering high points of how a home warranty can protect the buyer and seller from incurring financial hits after a home purchase. In the time to shine, this will be the 15 minutes of where the public will be able to come in and voice their thoughts and we can answer any burning questions you may have. We'll turn the table then, and this will be a chance where you can ask general or specific real estate and or home warranty questions. Please voice your questions in the remarks portion at any time during the broadcast. I'll be monitoring the feedback, and my father or Mark will answer them during this period. If there's a question of which we don't know the answer to, or feel like it may take a little longer, we'll ask you to bear with us, and we'll get back to you with a personal private message just as soon as possible. Again, we thank you for everybody tuning in, and I'd like to pass the microphone to my dad, Dave, who will give us a synopsis into the real estate today in Pettis County.
Thank you, Ryan. Today, I'm only going to spend a couple of minutes discussing what is happening in the residential real estate market in Sedalia and Pettis County. Then move on to some news about what Ryan and I have been doing to improve our skills and use them to help you with your real estate transactions. According to the West Central Association of Realtors, MLS, as of July 21, 2020, there were only 172 residential properties being offered for sale in Pettis County, with 62 of them having on-contracts pending. That leaves only 110 homes available for purchase in the county. This means that if you find a home available that meets your needs, you better move on it. It is definitely still a seller's market. Even though Ryan and I have more than 60 years of real estate experience between us, we realize that we are in a continuously changing business and that we must update and expand our knowledge base and our experience. We have over the years completed the coursework and experience for many designations such as the GRI, which is Graduate Realtor Institute, CRS, Certified Residential Specialist, ePro, CIPS, which is Certified International Property Specialist, ABR, Accredited Buyer Representative, and some other lesser known designations. Our objective in completing these courses is not to brag about we have the designation, but rather to upgrade our competence to represent you on various types of real estate transactions. As a continuation of the effort to be qualified and competent real estate professionals, I am happy to announce that I have been awarded the Seniors Real Estate Specialist designation by the SRES Council affiliated with the National Association of Realtors. How does this help, and what does this mean to you as my current and future customers and clients? Here's what the SRES organization says it means. By earning the SRES designation, a realtor has demonstrated the necessary knowledge and expertise to counsel clients age 50 plus through major financial and lifestyle transitions involved in relocating, refinancing, or selling the family home. So if you're over 50, why would you use an SRES? Well, number one, a customized approach to your situation, working to fit your living situation with your overall life plan. Also, expertise and patience throughout the transaction. We have an awareness of options and a network of solid, reliable referrals to help you in the process. We can give you a variety of choices to reduce your out-of-pocket expenses, gain cash, or create or defer income streams to either stay independent or obtain financial assistance. After completing this series of courses, I am now competent to discuss the subjects such as trends and characteristics of the 50-plus housing market, types of housing that is available. I can discuss the benefits and consequences of a reverse mortgage. May present new housing options to you that you might not be aware of. Can help you steer clear of loan schemes and scams. So if you have a need for real estate services related to seniors and housing, give Ryan and I a call, and we'll be happy to sit down with you for a no obligation discussion. At this time, it is my pleasure to turn the mic over to another type of real estate professional, Mark Emerick with Home Warranty Incorporated, to discuss how home warranties work and their importance to a homeowner. Mark, it's all yours.
Well, thanks, Dave, and thanks, Ryan, to have me on here. I'm hoping that we could get some questions from the people out there, because I know there's always different hot topics, and not to be a pun on it, but the air conditioners right now is probably one of the biggest topics, which we can talk about, but that's not what we're focusing on today. But I'll just let you know that the biggest thing we do repairs on is the heating and cooling system. That is by far the most items that we take care of, is the heating and cooling. So if right now, if you're having a heating and cooling problem and you had a warranty, it would be helping you out.
Mark, the question we hear, and I'm not sure I know the exact definition myself, I know the technical, but is a home warranty and insurance coverage?
Right. And so many times people will think of it as insurance, and there's some downfalls with that because it is not insurance, and we can't act like insurance because the insurance industry is highly regulated, and there's state regulations and federal regulations, and if you don't do something quite right, there's fines. And so warranty companies, they're like a car warranty, and that's probably the easiest way to think about it. I know my experience when I've had issues with items in the house. Like I had some water damage, and these items got wet and damaged, and they didn't say, okay, we're going to repair these items for you. They just said, okay, what are the items, dollar cost of the items, here, we're going to replace those items. And so the problem with that is the mentality you might get with a warranty is thinking, oh, if there's ever a problem, I'm going to get me a brand new one, because insurance companies typically will give you a brand new one. And that's not the case. Again, like a car warranty, you're driving around a 2017 vehicle. You got a couple dents on it. They may not even make that model anymore, and the transmission goes out. You got a warranty on it. They're not going to take care of any of the dents. They don't care if they don't make that model anymore. Their job is to repair it and get it back up and running. They're going to fix that transmission, and you can still have that beat up car because all the stuff you did to it, but the transmission is working good, and they fixed it back up and running. So saying all that, I would say the majority of all the claims that we have, probably 95% of all the claims, we're able to just repair the item and get you back up and going. Now, one thing we do allow is a homeowner can always take a piece of that money, or not piece of that money, they can take all that repair money and apply it towards purchase of new. Getting back on the insurance thing before we get to the next topic, simple way to think about it is that something externally happens to an item, that's your insurance. So if there's like a physical beating on it, lightning, animals, anything externally happening to it, that's more like insurance. Where if internally it just breaks down and falls apart, that becomes to be a warranty, because we take care of normal wear and tear. So I mean, we can go in more detail on that, but I know we don't want to take it too much time, but hopefully that got people's minds thinking about it.
Appreciate that part of getting things answered. When we talk about home protection plans, what can the buyer or even the seller, if they have a plan in place, be considered a pre-existing issue?
Right. And that's a key thing. When I first started, no warranty company covered unknown pre-existing conditions. So for sure, There's not a warranty company out there that will cover a known problem. So if you're having to think, well, let's say you got a dishwasher and you say, oh, well, it's not pumping out water like it used to, and it's starting to fill up, and at the end of the cycle, it doesn't drain it all the way out. I'll go ahead and get a warranty on that. So when it does break, they'll take care of it. Well, it already is broken. If it's not pumping out, if it's not doing what the manufacturer designed it to do, it's already broken. So that sometimes can be the problem, the confusion, I guess, is, you know, at what time has it failed? When it's not performing the way it was designed to work, that means it's broken. Now maybe it's still running, but you know, again, you can have a car that's running, but it's not working right. So you got to make sure so if there's found anything, let's get to the home inspection. This might clarify it a little bit. So if you had a home inspector looked at an item and they just said, hey, this unit is past its useful life, but it's working fine, I don't see any problems with it, then that's going to be covered, and that's not a problem. But if the inspector says we do find a particular item, you know, wrong with it, something, maybe some extra rust or something, it appears to be working, but there's a little bit of extra rust on it, maybe you should have it looked at by a professional. Well, so that if you decide not to have a professional look at it, then it's a known problem. It's a pre-existing problem, and it would not be covered by us because you knew someone said that there's something doesn't seem right. So I don't know if that answers that good or not. Sorry, I had a little distraction here. I don't know if you heard that. Hopefully you didn't hear kids scream in the background here.
Yeah.
I got my 2.5-year-old boys beating at my door trying to come in here.
I think that's a generally accepted Zoom etiquette these days. I like it.
On how, talking about more how your plans work and stuff, how do the deductibles or service fee, how do they work on the plans?
Yeah, so we just have a $75 deductible, or yeah, I guess you could call it deductible. And so what happens is with us, if the tech comes out and it's below that amount, you just pay whatever the tech's going to charge. Once it reaches that $75, then that's when we kick in and we take care of, most of the time, the remainder of it, unless there's some different modifications that need to be done. But typically we're going to take care of everything above that $75. Now, the thing that some people might think in their mind it can be taken care of, let me give you just a quick little example. If you had a leak underneath your kitchen sink and you were just too busy and wasn't that major of a deal, you thought, I'll take care of it later, and you're just so busy with stuff, you kind of put it off, and then later on you got a leak, you know, in the bathroom sink, and you're like, oh gosh, I'm still too busy to make that call. I got too many things going on, and then maybe later on, finally your dishwasher breaks down, and you get the tech come out there. You make the phone call. Well, what they're going to say is you had a leak underneath the kitchen. That's one incident. Leak in the bathroom. That's 2, and the dishwasher. That's 3. Even though you made only one phone call, you're going to have 3 deductibles on that. So they have to keep in mind, just because you made one call doesn't mean you get a discount in the deductibles.
Okay. Just some thoughts, some other thoughts that I had here, and a question I have heard over the years, that somebody is provided with a plan either by the seller or they choose to buy it when they close on a house. Normally we're talking about a 1-year situation. Can an individual buyer, after the end of the first year, extend their plan with you?
Yes. We let people continue it as long as they want to do it. And one thing we do just a little bit different than I thought this was standard but I found out some of our competitors do things a little differently. Is our price for that renewal is the same price that everybody's paying. That's on the brochure. It's a standard same price. It does not go up. And I know that other people that sometimes it's double that they have on the renewal. For us, it's the same price, and they can keep it going. In fact, after that first year, they can go on a monthly plan and just pay a little bit monthly and just keep it going until, you know, maybe the inspector said this thing only has 2 years left on it. You know, the furnace. This furnace probably only has, you know, a year or two left. Well, you keep going. Maybe you're thinking, hey, I'm just going to keep paying on this thing until that furnace actually does die. Then after it dies, then I'll stop it. And then you just do it that way.
Okay.
Okay, one more. I know we're starting to reach our time limit, the 30 minutes we try to use.
All right.
But you did allude as you started on the introduction that right now, air conditioners, what you see, what are the most commonly replaced items or repaired items that you see in claims on your company?
Yeah, I would say, especially lately, because of all the Freon issues, and I don't want to go into too much detail, but people should be aware that starting the first of this year, there's of course a lot of things happened this year, but the first of this year, no longer could they manufacture or import Freon. So all systems out there that have Freon, there's now, depending on the technician, big charges on what they're going to do for the Freon. And so what happens with that is people, so if you switch from Freon to R410A, that's a complete system change. And so you may have had some sellers that periodically added some Freon, you know, every couple of years, and they knew they had a little leak, but they didn't worry about it. They didn't care about it. And they just added more refrigerant, more Freon to it. Well, later on then, they sell the property, and now they're not making Freon, so people have to get to switching it out. And the A coil is typically where we find the leak. Most of the time, the A coil, which sits above the furnace inside the house, that'll be corroded with dirt and junk, and it'll corrode a little bit and have a leak in there. Then that would have to get replaced. And we find a lot of people have not maintained their systems. If we continued with Freon, there was no change in it, we think that people would have maintained their systems and moved along and just did that little bit of repair. But because they had not maintained, we're now having to replace a lot of those A coils. So that'd be probably the number one repair that we do. And that's almost half the price of the air conditioner is the A coil.
Wrapping up, Mark, I know this isn't a question, but something that we were visiting on a few days ago and arranging for this meeting. Could you just spend a minute bringing out how a seller can have coverage during their listing period?
Yeah. So as soon as you list the property, you can put a free seller's coverage on, and there's no obligation at all to put that coverage on it. Now there's some limitation of that seller's or listing coverage versus the buyer's coverage. And the main thing is you're not going to have the heating and cooling covered during that time. You can pay extra. You can actually pay $75, and you would be able to get that heating and cooling covered. But otherwise, you can get everything else covered for free with no obligation. So you might as well put that on right away, even if the house is not going to be on the market for a short period of time. Like the way the market is now, you already talked about just a few minutes ago how fast things are moving. It still would be beneficial to put that listing coverage on, because that home inspector is going to come out really soon, and it's great to have a stamp on the property saying, okay, we have the warranty on, and the house has been inspected, so we know everything is good, everything's covered. And then have that coverage, especially if the buyer's going to get the warranty, it basically keeps that guarantee through that whole time of the listing until the buyer gets the house. So if the buyer moves in day one and they say, this is not working for me, I got a problem here, it really doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter. The buyer said that it's never worked for them because the warranty's been on the property all that time, and now it's not a pre-existing condition. It's not an issue. We know it was working right with the inspector saying it's been working, and you had that coverage all during that time. So it's a great thing for the seller. One last thing I'll say on that is that you put that coverage on there, and let's say later on the house gets inspected and the inspector finds something that is on that coverage, there's a good chance that we would be paying for that repair versus having the homeowner, the seller, do it. And if it doesn't cost you anything and you can have that chance for us to take care of it for you, then you might as well put that on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I just thought that was an intriguing direction in the sense that I know probably 90% of our minds believe that the home warranty is the protection for the buyer in their future house. So I thought that was definitely one worth throwing out there.
Yeah.
And we are rapidly approaching our 30-minute point. So I definitely thank each and every one of you that made the decision to join us this afternoon. Additionally, we certainly thank you, Mark, for taking time out of your day to jump in with us. I know everybody's busy right now with the very active housing market. So what I've got here is we've got Mark and our personal contact information. So should questions arise, if you'd like the details on Mark's home warranty plans, you can touch base with him, touch base with us. We've got those in stock also. And as a friendly reminder, this episode's replay and all of our prior 6 episodes are always available with a few clicks of the mouse if you go to Dave and Ryan Wiedemann, Remax of Sedalia, at our YouTube channel. And of course, while you're there, we'd definitely be honored if you subscribe to our future posts, or I say subscribe to the channel and you'll receive alerts of any future posts that we make on there. And bearing that in mind, our brown bagging continues on the bi-weekly basis. We'll get back to our Thursdays. Today was just a blip where we had both my father and I had things going on tomorrow. So we'll be back, and that will be August 6th at noon. And mark your calendar as we'll hear from Will Weibert. He's the publisher at the Sedalia Democrat. He's going to present some topics ranging from his background, knowing what's going on in the Sedalia business world as to what he's aware of that's actively going on in Sedalia. And then he's going to cover a few things that they've got going on and will be coming available here in the near future. So maybe it'll be hot off the press, well, no pun intended, and it'll be the first to hear what they're doing down there at the Sedalia Democrat. So the Facebook Live events can always be accessed by jumping on to our personal webpage, or not personal Facebook page, and or our by searching David and Ryan Brown Baggin in the events area. So overall, hopefully things have been very informational for you today. And my dad, I, and Mark wish you a fabulous afternoon. Thanks, and we'll talk to you